WNMA, Miami Springs, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. 1210 The Man. South Florida's only station where you're the man.
You're tuned in to The American Cream. The American Cream. The American Cream. A show for people seeking truth about money and how to really achieve the American dream with cream. During the next hour, you're invited to learn how credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset are essential to helping you achieve the American dream. American dream. American dream. Please join your host, Hyacinth Henderson, for today's episode.
Happy Saturday. Today is Saturday, May 16, 2020. And if you are listening to this, if you are under the sound of my voice, congratulations. You have made it another day and on Earth, in the simulation, in the matrix. You're still here. That means you got purpose, and you got to fire up that purpose and turn it into a passion so that you can live a life that you're supposed to live. Thank you so much for tuning in to the American Cream radio show. The American Cream is a financial educational radio show with a twist, and I am the twist, right? So this is a non-traditional and unconventional financial educational radio show, but nonetheless, it is financial education. It is financial education designed to get you to your destiny of achieving the American dream on your terms. Because when I ask you what the American dream is, it may be different for you, it may be different for me, and then really at this point, is the American dream your dream, or is it somebody else's dream? And so because of that, we talk about CREAM, and CREAM stands for credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset, the American Cream. All right, so if you've been listening to the past few episodes, you will know that we have been speaking and talking and chatting a lot about getting ourselves prepared for this new normal, getting ourselves prepared for where we are going during this transitionary period, because regardless of what the news says and the TV says and your grandma and grandpa say, we know that one thing is for certain, that things are changing. Things are changing, and when things change, there is no need at this point to fight the change, but really to embrace the change and to figure out where you're going to be on the other side of change. I didn't say to allow them or just sit back and wait for the change. I said you figure out, you control your reality, control and command your destiny. So in order for us to figure out where we're going to be on the other side of change, we have got to get ourselves together, right? That's right. Can I get an amen? Amen. You got to get yourself together. And so we've been talking about vision. We've been talking about purpose. We've been talking about mission statements. Last week, I believe, I got to look back at my notes, we started talking about business. We focused a little bit on that E for entrepreneurship, and we're going to go right back into that today. We're going to go right back in there. Yeah, last week we did. We talked about, I asked you some questions as I reminded you that you got a business in you. I firmly believe that everybody is a business owner. Everybody's an entrepreneur, whether you know it or not. That's another thing. Whether you're ready for that step right now, that's a different conversation. But I firmly believe that everyone under the sound of my voice, everyone on planet Earth is an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. You are a business owner. And you just got to get there to that knowing, believing, and accepting, and then taking the practical steps to make that a reality, right? All right, so before we get back into the entrepreneurship talk, I want to bring up what's going on in the world, right? So we got to stay current a little bit. So current events says that last night or yesterday, the House passed a $3 trillion with a T, $trillion bill, another stimulus bill for this whole COVID-19 thing, right, that we're experiencing. $3 trillion with the T. So the first one that they passed, and what are we in? We're 5 months in. So 5 months in, they've already passed a $2 trillion bill. That was the first one. Then they came back and they were like, you know what? So we passed this $2 trillion with the T bill, and like they went for it. Ain't nobody say nothing. Everybody was like, yeah, y'all doing y'all thing. We appreciate that. Throw them bands, like make it rain. We appreciate that. And so they were like, all right, let's go out the screen door again. You know how your grandma was like, the first time you go out the screen door and you come back in and she don't say nothing to you. I'm dating myself because I don't even think people have screen doors anymore. Well, let me take that back, Hyacinth. Some people still have screen doors. I'm dating myself to back in the days when my grandmother had a screen door and she was like, listen, don't be coming in and out of my screen door. We knew that if you went outside, you had to stay outside, because if you needed to go back inside for anything, you ran the risk of her telling you to sit down, sit down, sit down. You going in and out. I only came back in once. Sit down. So you were like, all right, boom. But if you really, really needed something, let's say you needed that favorite toy and you found that you had to go back in the house to get that toy, or you need to go to the bathroom like this, you couldn't use the bathroom behind the tree for this one. You had to go inside and use the bathroom, and you go back in and she don't say nothing to you. Guess what? By the time you go out again, you're going to feel a little bit more confident to go in again because you got away with it the first time. And so I feel like that's what the government is doing. They're like, all right, boom, we passed this $2 trillion bill, and they went for it. And so then they came back with, we're gonna like go under the radar a little bit. Instead of the trillions, we're gonna go with the billion. Then they went to 484 billion with a B. That passed too, and everybody's like, okay, cool. Now they was like, oh, shoot, we done came in and out the house. Granny still ain't saying nothing. I'm going in one more time. I just got to try it again. She didn't say anything. Maybe she having a good day. You know, Mr. Lewis may have come by last night, so she good. She let me in and out. I'm going to try it one more time. And so yesterday, they tried it again, and now it's a $3 trillion bill, the largest one yet. The House passed it. The Republicans are saying they ain't going for it, but we'll see what happens. We will see. The only reason I share that story with you is because I want you to think about who's going to pay for this money. Who's going to pay for it? And I know right now, the part that we can see is that 10%. You know, if you've listened to me, or if you're connected, you know that I always remind you that at any given point, we can only see 10% of what's going on. Out of 100% of the complete picture, we can only see 10%. So the other 90% we can't even see. So right now, the only 10% that we're focused on is, all right, they making it rain. You know, they're passing these bills. We getting a little stimulus check. They bailing out these businesses and XYZ. And they're saying we don't have to pay it back on our tax return next year. So it's all good. Somebody got to pay for that money. Okay? Somebody has to pay for it. I don't want you to be naive. Someone has to pay for it. And that someone is going to be working class Americans who pay taxes. You are going to pay for it. Right now, we are in a low tax environment. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But if we have to look at the pieces of the puzzle and put it together, we can take an educated guess and say at some point we are going to shift from the low tax environment and move to where taxes are going to be increased, because we're going to have to pay that get back. You got to get that get back. And so what does that mean for you? It means for you to be aware. It means for you to be in the know. It means for you to realize that just because Granny ain't say nothing about you coming in and out that screen door 3 times, she saw you. She knew you came in and out of her door 3 times, and she may not say nothing this week because, like I said, Mr. Lewis or Mr. Leroy came by last night. That's the 90% you didn't see. You didn't see he came by last night, so she all good. But listen, if you don't come by next week and you try to go outside, she gonna pull it up. Listen, you ain't going outside today because last week or 2 weeks ago, you went in and out of my screen door all day long. So now you ain't going outside no more. And you thinking you got away scot-free. Same thing with these bills they pass and these taxes. So sit tight and be prepared. How can you prepare? Well, here it is. If you have accounts that are taxable accounts, what are taxable accounts? Taxable accounts, the most common taxable accounts that most people know about are IRAs. They're IRAs, 401ks, government-sponsored retirement plans. We call them qualified plans. If you got money sitting in a tax-deferred account, if you have money sitting in a tax-deferred account, meaning you ain't paid the taxes yet, you waiting to pay the taxes at a later time, we need to have a conversation. Why do we need to have a conversation? Because the writing is on the wall that later on, sooner or later, and it may be around the time when you get ready to say, all right, I'm going to retire, and I know I've deferred my taxes, but now I'm ready to pay them. Oh, good. Thank you, kind sir. You ready to pay your taxes now? Well, guess what? The tax rate has increased. It is your lucky day and my lucky day, too, as the government. And since the tax rate has increased, I get more of your money. Then think about that. So what do you do? Sit with the financial planner, sit with the financial advisor. As you know, the Henderson Financial Group has a staff and team of financial professionals. We are here to help you. Don't cost you nothing to call us. Call us and evaluate your situation because it's coming. You know you wasn't supposed to be going in and out that door that many times. You already knew the rules. You wasn't new to this. You was true to this. You can't do that. You knew that this ain't free money. They telling you now that it's free money, but if you've been living longer than 18 years, depending on who your parents were, longer than 5 years, because you start getting them conversations early, ain't nothing free. It ain't free money. And so if you have money sitting in a tax deferred account, what are we going to do about that? You want to pay taxes on it now in a low tax environment, or do you want to wait till taxes go up? If it were me, I would want to pay taxes on it now in a low tax environment, get that gum off my shoe, get it out of the way right now when I know what the tax rate is, instead of trying to figure out the unknown. Listen, we didn't know we was going to be wearing masks to go to the grocery store 6 months ago. We didn't know that. So you don't know what's going to happen, what that higher tax environment is going to look like. Let's have a conversation. If you got money in a 401k, IRA, any other tax deferred account where you've been putting money away and saying, I'll just pay taxes on it later. That later is now. Let's have a conversation on it. Also, for the people who have been either furloughed, laid off, not furloughed, for the people who have been laid off, the people who, COVID has pushed you from one season to the next. They said, congratulations, you are going from employee to employer. Notice I didn't say employee to laid off. Employee to unemployed. No, you're going from employee to employer. Your time is up at this job. Now you're going to start your own business. That's how you're moving from employee to employer. And before you go, remember you were putting all this money in this tax deferred account because down at HR, we told you that's what all the big boys do. We told you that you needed to put your money in a 401k. Don't leave your money on the table. If you've been laid off, let's have a conversation. Remember, because of COVID-19, the government has said, hey, we already know that the effects of this are going to be felt for a while. So what we're going to do is we are going to waive the early withdrawal penalty. So that means if you're under 59 and a half and you have been laid off and you have money in a 401k or an IRA or something like that, and you want to move your money, you're not going to be penalized for it. Remember, you're going from employee to employer. Wouldn't it be great for you to be able to tap into some of your money that you were putting away anyway to help you start your own business? Wouldn't that be great? Now you ain't struggling in the basement anymore because now you have some funds. Oh, wait a minute. I could tap into this money without penalty. I can tap into my money without penalty and go ahead and use it to help me start my own business, because you're going to need to hire some people. You're going to need to pay for some stuff. Ain't nothing free. Nothing is free. And you're going to quickly learn that you can't do DIY it for everything. You can't do it yourself. So let's think about that. If you know somebody, maybe you haven't been laid off, but maybe you know somebody that's laid off, ask them what they're doing with their retirement money. Have them give us a call. Let's take a look at that. And also remember, even if you aren't laid off, let's say you just have a 401k or an IRA or whatever, not a 401k. Let's say you have an IRA and it's been sitting there and you need some money. You can take out up to $100,000 and not have to pay taxes on it right now. You can pay the taxes over a 3-year period. Again, remember, you're shifting, you're transitioning. What are the resources that you have? And even if you haven't been laid off, even if you haven't been furloughed, maybe you have money, as most Americans do, because they feel for the okie doke. You have a large sum of your retirement money sitting in a tax deferred account. We need to have a conversation. So for everyone under the sound of my voice who has a 401k, an IRA, some other tax deferred account, give us a call at the office. It's 305-825-1444. Let the receptionist know that you are calling because you just want a free analysis. You heard me on the radio, you heard me on YouTube, and you didn't think about the fact that I got some money over here. You want to figure out how you can use your tax deferred money now instead of paying taxes on it in a higher tax environment. You want to figure out how you can use it now where the penalties have been waived and where the tax reporting requirements have been changed. You want to figure out how to tap into that now, okay? You didn't know that. You were thinking you were starting a business from zero because you forgot about it. So that's that. All right, so we talked about the fact that taxes are going up. We talked about the fact that taxes are deferred. Let's get into business. Let's get into business. By the way, I dropped a new episode on the American Cream podcast. It is titled "You Gotta Know Something." So I'm not going to repeat myself here on this radio show because I do put it up on YouTube, but it is an episode that you should listen to. You should absolutely listen to. You have got to listen to that episode. It is almost a requirement for your life, right? It's titled "You Gotta Know Something." So make sure you tune in and download that on wherever you listen to podcasts. All right. So today we're going to continue the conversation around business. So I've been having you do the work, getting your mind right, figuring out what it is that you want to do, what business you're going into, what you're starting up, how are you moving from employee to employer. And even if you aren't laid off, even if you haven't been laid off, you know you got to get some more pots on the stove. You know that you need to have another additional source of income. Who has ever heard someone say, "Oh man, I got too much money coming in. I got too much checks and direct deposits hitting. I'm good." Never. Never, Rary. You've never heard that. So this conversation is for you. It may be for you. It may be for your children. The fact is, you got to have some control. You got to start a business. All right. So let me take you through these steps very quickly, right? Because I know my time is limited here. But let me take you through the steps from startup concept to launch. Because a lot of times people want to start a business and the first thing they're focused on is, okay, boom, I want to get a social media or I want to get a website. And I have news for you. The website, there are like 8 or 9 steps that comes before you make a website. There are 8 or 9 steps that you must. Remember, I don't like telling y'all what to do, but in this position, I guess I am the subject matter expert. So I got to get over that. I got to get out of my head. Don't tell them what to do. Hyacinth suggests. Okay, nah, from now on, I'm telling y'all what to do. Before you start a website, you must do these things. First, you got to come up with the idea. All right, so we've been talking about that for the past few weeks. I sincerely hope and pray that you have done your homework. Come up with the idea. After you come up with the idea, then we got to research the market. What does that look like? As I mentioned last week, the Jetsons have told us that they were going to be flying cars. We don't have no flying cars yet because there isn't a market for flying cars yet. They're just not. And I'm not saying people, I'm saying the infrastructure isn't there yet. So when you get this flying car, where you going to park it? Where you going to park it? What about the buildings? How high up do you have to fly? Is the car going to fit in between the buildings? Like, what's going on? So there's no market for it yet. And so I share that story with you because as you start thinking about your business that you're coming up with, I want you to research the market. Researching the market involves you studying your proposed target and competitors. And I know it's 2020. It ain't no competition. We ain't got no competition. I ain't competing with nobody. I understand that, but you do have competitors. Just because you aren't competing doesn't mean that competitors don't exist. And so what that means is you need to research the competitors. We call that competitive mapping. Why do you need to research that? Because if the man down the street is selling hot dogs for $1 and you want to sell your hot dogs for $5, you might have a problem. You got to figure out why somebody is going to pay $5 for one hot dog from you and he can get it down the street from only $1. I'm not telling you that you can't sell your hot dog for $5, but I am telling you that you do have to research the competitor and figure out why he's selling his for $1. Is he selling the hogs behind? Only the hogs behind right there near the rim? Is that why it's $1 and yours is plant-based products and you put some smoked paprika in there and a little smoke so it tastes like the hogs behind? Why is he selling his for $1? Is he selling his out the back of his truck and you selling yours in a nice environment with fresh plants, natural plants, real plants, and eucalyptus in the air, and everybody at your establishment is smiling? So you got to figure that out. And the only way you can figure those things out is by doing competitive mapping. It's about 20 after the hour. You are tuned into the American Cream radio show. Boy, them 20 minutes flew by quick. We're going to take a quick break. Stand by. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, president of the Henderson Financial Group. And I want to ask a question. Are you planning on retiring soon?
You know, Robert, a lot of people work their entire lives with that goal in mind. And if you're planning on retiring, especially within the next 3 years, you absolutely have to give us a call at the Henderson Financial Group. We have so many retirement strategies, especially as an independent financial planning firm, that will fit your specific retirement goals and objectives.
And I'm glad you said that, because retirement planning is totally different from investment planning. And you know, Linda, a lot of people get that mixed up, because most people, when they're getting ready to retire, they probably just put their money with some retirement firm, with some investment house, and they just put the money there and they want to make it grow. But that's not retirement planning. You know, when you come to us, we help you decide and we educate you on whether you should take a lump sum distribution or receive scheduled monthly payments.
Absolutely. We can give you the tools and the information to help you navigate and make the best choices for you and your family specifically.
So remember, retirement planning is totally different from investment planning. If you need more information, please call us at the Henderson Financial Group. Call today at 305-825-1444.
Hi, I'm Linda V. Harris, Vice President of the Henderson Financial Group, and I want to share a story with you. Now, this is not my story. I did not make it up. It is coming directly from the National Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I want to talk about what's going to happen to 100 of us by the age of 65. Now, 29 of us will be dead and 71 of us will still be alive. Of the 71 of us that are still living, we're comprised of the following. 52 of us are directly dependent upon the government. And if we're not dependent upon the government, it simply means we've given up and we're homeless or living on the streets, okay? 14 of us are still working, and we always will be, because we don't have any family at all. So we will continue to work until we die. 3 of us will be financially independent. And when I say financially independent, I mean we don't need any support from anyone. It means our wealth grows and will continue to grow as we receive comfortable income from our assets. The remaining 2 of us will become wealthy. And what I mean by wealthy is it's defined as a net worth of at least $5 million plus. The question is, where do you fit in this story? If you want to be part of the 5% and not the 95%, give us a call at the Henderson Financial Group, 305-825-1444, and tell us you want to talk about the 100-man story.
Welcome back. All right. Thank you for sticking and staying with me. You're listening to the American Cream Radio Show. I am your host, Hyacinth Henderson, and we're talking about your money. This is a financial educational radio show. So regardless of how it sounds, it's always all about the money. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things to help you get your money where you want it to be, honey. All right. So we're talking about your business and researching the market and why it's important for you to research a market. It's important for you to research the market, not because, you know, your competitors are your enemies, not because you want to engage in a competition, the act of competing with someone else or another business, but you do want to recognize that there are competitors and you want to see what they're doing. This is after you have your idea. You want to see what they're doing, how the market is responding to them, what areas they're good at and what areas they're not so good at. And here's the sweet spot. When you figure out the areas that they're not so good at, that is an opportunity for you to come in and be extra great at those areas for your product. Again, if you selling hot dogs and they selling hot dogs and they sell them for $1 and you want to sell your hot dogs for $5, it can happen. You just have to figure out a way to make it happen. So you have to research the market. That's studying your market. What does your market like? Is your market the people who likes hogs behind? Is that your market? If that's your market, then you need to understand how they live, how they think, what TV shows they watch, what they drink, what their mindset is. You got to get into the mindset of somebody who eats hog behind. It's true. I'm saying it straight, raw, and uncut. It is absolutely true, because there is a different market for those people. They have different, you got to psychoanalyze them. The things that they do, see, and enjoy is completely different. People who don't eat hogs behind, it's certain stuff that we ain't doing. It's certain decor that you may have, and I'm going to walk in there and clutch my pearls. Where am I at? You say you're selling plant-based products, but it looked like you're selling hogs behind it here. This is why it's important for you to research the market. Understand your target market, research your competitors, and then evaluate the viability of your idea. What does that mean? Is this a good idea? It sounded like a good idea. How viable is it? How long will it last? What problems may arise? What may come up? So this is all done before you get your social media and the website, honey, because it don't make no sense for you to go ahead and pay somebody to get a website, have your website done and sitting up there all looking pretty. You got the best color palette and best color scheme on the website, and ain't nobody buying nothing because you haven't done a very important step of researching the market. So I hope I have drilled that in your head so that you understand the importance of it and really and truly think about it. I mean, we've all done it. We've walked into an establishment or walked somewhere like, oh, I didn't notice what y'all had in here because from the way it looked, I underestimated it. And I understand we all, we get to the point that we don't even care if we're underestimated. But when you're starting a new business, that's not the time to care. You need to be showing up front and center like, hey, this is what I have. And I want to be clear on what I have. And that leads me into my next point, deciding on a business name. We know that you love your kids and your kids love you back. And you love your alma mater and your favorite stuffed animal. But don't name your business after your kids. Nobody knows them kids. Nobody knows them kids. You have to decide on a name that is going to tell people what it is that your business does without having to ask. Remember, we're living in an instant society. People want stuff and they want it quick. They want it extremely quick. When they do a Google search and they're looking up, whatever product or service they're looking up, and your business is the name of your kids, they scrolling by. Why? I don't have time to figure out who little Tink Tink and little Scooter is. Tink Tink and Scooter business. No. We're going to decide on a name that fits your business and that tells your customers exactly what your business does. If you selling hogs behind hot dogs, hogs behind hot dogs. And then you can get a little bit more creative than that. But the point is, I know you've all seen it. People put letters and numbers and all kind of stuff together to come up with their business. What y'all sell? Oh, we selling this. I never would have known. So we want to make sure that we research a name and choose a name that is reflective of what our business does, reflective of what our business sells. And then after you have researched that name, you want to check that name to see if it's available in Florida. That is sunbiz.org. Sun, SUNBIZ.org, sunbiz.org. You want to check to see if that name for that entity is available. Right? Because the last thing that you want to do is like, all right, Hyacinth, I got it. I got you. I ain't going to name the business Tink Tink and Scooter because you made a point and I want people to be able to find my business and know what it's about. I understand that. So I went ahead and I got everything done in this business name and I did not check to see if it was available. So that's something that you want to do immediately. Wherever you're listening to me at, go to your state registrar's office and figure out how to check the business name availability. Something else that you want to do. Now, this is the next level tip. You want to check the intellectual property, the trademarks website. And you know what? I didn't write that down in my notes. So I can't think of the name of the website right now, but it's a free website. And this gives you some homework to do. For the low price of FREE, free 99, you can go online and figure out what the trademark, the U.S. Patents Office website is, and do a search for your business name. The reason why you want to do that, because let's say you are starting a business that you are planning straight out the gate. You know this business is going to be a big business. It's going to be the best business. You're creating generational wealth and generational income for your children. So this is not just some hot dogs you're going to be selling out of your trunk. Like, you were really starting a business. And it's going to be around for some time, and you foresee it blowing up because your vision is just that large, because you've done the work that I asked you to do 2 and 3 episodes ago. So you already know this is going to be a big business because the vision is big. So you got to make sure that someone across the pond does not have a trademark on your business name, on your business logo, on your business slogan, on your business catchphrase. Very important. When you thinking big, you got to play big. Ain't no time for you to create this whole big business And then when you blow up and blow, they see you on CNBC talking about your business. Like, wait a minute, I got a patent on that name. I got a trademark on that. Attorney, call them up, have them run me my money. We don't want to do that. So you also, as you're checking your state registrant's office to see if the business name is available, go one step deeper. Go one step deeper and check the patents office website, trademark. I think it may be U.S. trademarks or something like that, but you can Google it. You got some work to do. It's Saturday. All right. So after you do that, then you can go ahead and say, all right, now let me check to see if the domain name is available. You also want to check to see if competitors have a similar name, because if competitors, let's say you going in a hot dog business or a burger business, you don't want to make your business Burger King, K-A-N-G. No, I'm Burger King with the A. Because we said with slang, you know what I mean? In the hood, we say Burger King, not Burger King. No, we're not playing those games. We don't want to, because then you have to explain it. Oh, you went to Burger King looking for my special product? You should have came to Burger King. I know. Such a small, simple tweak. You don't want to get into that. So you also want to do a quick Google search and check other businesses. Whatever your business name is, put the name or the product that you're selling behind it. So what it will look like is Hyacinth shoe warehouse or something like that. And you'll say businesses, or Hyacinth shoe warehouse Miami, or Hyacinth shoe warehouse Atlanta, wherever you are. Just do a search. Just take some time on doing this. I'm planting the seed. You got to water it and let it grow. It's going to take you on a wild ride. But the point is, do it so that there is no confusion. You want people to know that your business name belongs to you. Your business name belongs to your business. When they look up that business name, when you look up the American Cream, it's, hey, my face, podcast, everything comes up, the American Cream. So that's what you want to make sure that you do. Very important part. And so after we come up with a good idea and we research the market and we decide on a good name, then we may want to move on to the point of deciding on the business structure. Yes, there are different types of structures that your business can have. It depends on how you plan on growing and expanding. It depends on how much money you plan on making, how much money you see the business bringing in. And it really depends on how much taxes you want to pay. Notice I said you want to pay, not that you're going to have to pay. Because really and truly, we decide how much taxes we want to pay. We have to tax plan and not tax report. So if you know that you need your business to show some income, then we need to have a conversation on the type of structure that you're going to need to have, because you're going to want to use your business income to qualify for things. And while we're talking about needing business to show some income, most people that start business, they want their cake and they want to eat it too. What do I mean by that? When I say you want your cake and you want to eat it too, it's like, listen, I want to start business. I want to make this money, but I don't want to pay no taxes on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get with the shady accountant who's going to write off all my expenses and do all these games and things like that so that I don't have to pay no taxes. Wait a minute, boo, what season are you in? Because if you're in the season of eating, if you're in a season of accumulation, if you're in a season of acquiring some things where you know that you're going to want to expand the business, you're going to want to get a business loan, you want to borrow other people's money to grow the business, to scale the business. And after you grow and scale the business, you're going to want to show business income for yourself. Then you got to show some income. And showing some income means you're going to have to pay some taxes. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So think about that very clearly. Go into it with the mindset of, listen, if I want to sit at the big boys table and have a business, I got to show up and put on my big boy pants. You want the $1 million house, you got to pay the $1 million light bill, baby girl. You want that fancy car, that foreign car, you got to put the premium gas, get them run flat tires. And y'all know, in case you don't know, run flat tires cost about $500 for one tire. It depends on what type of tire you have, and that may be on the low end. A run flat tire is the tire that most, foreign cars or luxury cars, most luxury cars, they come with run flats. That means when your tire goes flat, you get a nail in it or something like that, there's another tire on the inside of it so that it doesn't go flat so that you can't drive it. You get to run it while it's flat. It's called a run flat tire. So you can't be complaining that you got to pay $500 for one tire when you're driving a BMW. If you wanted to pay $500 for all four, you should have still drove a Honda. That's what you should have done. So when you step up to the big boys table and you want a big boy plate, you got to sit with the big boys and play the big boy games. That means, listen, get that mindset out. Come correct. Don't bring that poverty mindset into starting your business. I don't want to pay no taxes, write everything off. Now, there's a time and space for that. Tax planning, once you have accumulated what you need to accumulate, and then it depends on the season. Maybe you don't need to qualify for anything. You can play those games when you're a business owner. Then you get with a certified tax coach, which my father, Mr. Robert Henderson Jr. at the Henderson Financial Group, is a certified tax coach. So we will show you how to take control of your tax situation by tax planning. That's very different from you just saying, listen, I don't want to show no taxes, put this money under the table. It's important, and that ties back into the structure that you decide. I'm not going to go into the different types of business structures in detail because that is something that I'm going to put on the podcast. I may record it tonight. But really quickly, there are 4 main types of business structures. It's a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a limited liability company, which is an LLC, and a limited liability partnership. Some of us didn't even know those existed. Let me say it again. You must decide on your business structure. Your business structure. Are you going to be a corporation? Are you going to be a sole proprietorship? Are you going to be a partnership? Are you going to be a limited liability company or a limited liability partnership? Think about this. And I'm not sharing this with you so that you can, to deter you from this. Again, you at the big girls table. Put on your big girl drawers and let's get it. When you wanted to drive a car, you had to understand how a car works. You can't just say, I want to drive, and you get in there and go. You got to put some gas in. It comes with responsibility. You got to get some gas, some car insurance. Got to make sure you put air in the tires, get the oil change. Don't be that person who starts wanting to drive a car and never get the oil change, and all of a sudden you done blew the whole engine. Is that what happens when you don't get an oil change? You blow the engine? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but you could mess up something if you don't get an oil change. Don't be that person. Same thing with the business. You got to have these conversations. You got to know these things. So think about that. I'm planting seeds. Because you can use your friend Google and figure out the rest. You can continue to tune in to the American Cream radio show and podcast, or you can give us a call at 305-825-1444 and have a consultation. This is what we do. But I'm sharing this with you because I want you to make that transition from employee to employer in the best way possible. Your testimony ain't going to be, I went from employee to employer and dang, I failed because I didn't even know that I had to register my business. I didn't know that till they came and they knocked on my door and they like, sir, you selling these hot dogs out of your trunk and you ain't paid not nail tax on it. You don't let that be you. Don't be in that position. That's why we're having this conversation. All right, so boom, you're going to come up with the idea. You're going to research the market. You're going to decide on the name. You're going to decide on the structure of the business. Then we may need to register intellectual property, IP. If you got an invention, an innovation, something next level, like really next level, you're like, you know what? I see how big this is going to be. Let me go ahead and get a patent on this. Let me go ahead and trademark this. Something that you want to explore. And just because you're exploring it now doesn't mean you need to do it now. But you want to explore it now and realize that there's a cost involved to these things. Ain't nothing free. And don't let the cost deter you. The cost involved to these things is to help you see straight. You're like, all right, boom, it's going to cost me $1,200, $2,000 to get this thing trademarked or get this patented. It's going to cost me another $1,500 for my website. It's going to cost me another $500 to have my business incorporated and get all the bylaws and stuff situated. Listen, don't run from the numbers. Put them things up on the wall. Put all your numbers up on the wall so you can figure out what your startup costs are. You can figure out how much money you need. You can figure out how many meals you got to miss. Let's talk about it. Because we ain't going to be eating luxury and fine dining when we're starting a business. That's just not what we're going to do. You got to figure out how many meals you're going to miss. You got to go back to that budget. How many meals am I missing to start up this business? How many times am I unsubscribing from all those stores and their clothing sales? Because now they're going crazy. 50% off, 80% off. How you selling something for 80% off? What is you making any money? You selling it for 80% off? That means you getting 20% and that whole 20% ain't even yours because you got to pay the people. But you don't let the numbers scare you. So we want to figure out all these things so that you can cut back in other areas. If you are now shifting to employer and starting up this business because you believe in it so much and you know that you're going to help the people, then you have to scale back in other areas. It is a part of life. It is a part of the business life that nobody talks about, but trust me, it has to happen. When you want to hire new people, you're going to take a salary cut. You might not be making no money, but you're paying somebody who has so much value and provides so much value that your business is going to grow. So you're not making any money right now, but you're able to pay them because they're helping you grow the business. And on the back end, your business is going to grow and thrive. And before you know it, you're going to be rolling in the dough. But these are the conversations that we want to have. So you want to look into registering an IP. And I'm not talking about looking into it, seeing how much it costs and Xing out the browser. Ooh, child, clutches pearls. That conversation ain't for me. Yes, it is. It sure is. Then we want to devise a plan, business planning. We want to draw up a plan. We want to figure out how we're going to make all this happen. And you can see very quickly the need for a business plan, because I've only been talking to y'all about this for maybe 25 minutes. It's 6:40. I started with the government stimulus package. So we've only been talking about this for maybe 25 minutes, and you can already see that you're going to have a plan. So yes, you need a business plan. That's another podcast episode. We don't have time to do it today. I'm going to record a podcast and put it on the podcast. So if you want to listen and go into details, you're going to have to listen to the podcast. That's right. You can catch the American Cream podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Apple, Spotify, Android, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. Search the American Cream with a C, and we'll continue the conversations there. So your business plan is going to include your goals. We talked about goals a few sessions back. Your mission statement. Didn't we talk about that too? I've been setting y'all up for a business plan and you ain't even know it. I just made it seem so easy. We're going to talk about your goals, your mission statement, and key financial information. So very important for you to understand and know that we are going to create a business plan. Now, if you just want to sell hogs behind out of your trunk to get a quick lick, and really what that means is, because I understand I have listeners from all backgrounds. If you want to sell hogs behind out of your trunk just to make you some quick money and you don't plan on building generational wealth, maybe you don't need a business plan. But if you start seeing that the people are lining up to your trunk before you even pop it to get that hogs behind, that might be your indicator that they really, really like them $1 hot dogs. And maybe you want to scale this thing and grow it and move from your trunk to a business, to move from your trunk to a building. And to do that, we're going to have a business plan. So put that in your back pocket. We're going to come back to that on the podcast. Now let's talk about obtaining business funds. Very, very important part of the puzzle. 99% of the people who start a business do not go into business thinking or with the awareness that, you know what, I can actually get some money for this. Somebody is going to, give me funding for my business. This is something that you have to think about. Now, remember, nobody's going to give you money for your business if your business isn't profitable. Nobody's going to give you money for your business if you don't have a business plan. Nobody's going to give you money for your business if you don't believe in your business and if you aren't showing up for your business. So before people start giving you money for your business, you're going to have some stuff together. We'll get into that as well. But I want you to consider that there are options available for you. How many of you have heard of a business incubator? A business incubator is a program or a setup where you can sit with other people who are starting businesses as well. And there's going to be some type of subject matter expert or experts. And they will help you. It's like an incubator. Think of a little hub. Think of a little club, a little clique, a business clique. You and your buddies or people you don't know, if you go to a business incubator, y'all clicked up in this little circle. Y'all meet maybe once a week. And there's an expert telling you and showing you and educating you on things that you need to do. Why is that important? Because there is stuff that you know, there is stuff that you don't know, and there is stuff that you don't even know that you don't even know. So in the business world, there is so much for you to learn, so much that you need to know. And unless you get with like-minded people, unless you get with other people, i.e. in an incubator, other people who are also in the same season as you, you might find yourself behind the eight ball. You might find yourself struggling in your business or to get your business off the ground because you hanging with people who still talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Why? Why you hanging with them people? They not starting a business. They fronting on TV. So you have to understand that you and I've told y'all that before too. Your friends are going to change. Your circle is going to change. You're going to have to get up from the table when it doesn't serve you anymore. So in that business incubator, you need to get clicked up with business-minded people who are going to help you and educate you on the stuff that you don't know and the stuff that you don't even know that you don't even know. Google it. They're available. Some of them are free. Lots of companies and organizations provide business incubators because they get funding to do stuff like this. All right, so then we decided on the name. It seemed like I put decided on the name first. That was supposed to come after the obtaining funds. Listen, plug it in the way you want to plug it in. The point is, the first step is not a website. After you do that, then we're finally ready to set up an online presence. Now we're going to see about social media. Now we're going to see about just capturing the names. I didn't say posting yet. We're going to see if the domain name is available. You got the best business name in town. And you've got your business plan. You've got your structure. The last thing you want to do is to have someone else register www.hyacinthhogsbehind.com. If it's Hyacinth Hogs Behind, I want that website too. I don't want to leave that on the table for somebody else to get that website. So that's what you need to do as well. Then we're going to get into creating a look, creating a visual. Most people do this at the very beginning. So, what color should I have my logo? I was thinking about this for a logo, and I want to have a little man over here standing behind the pig because that's hogs behind. No, wait a minute, ma'am, sir. We're supposed to do that. It's not time for that yet. But you do want to think about your logo. After you've done all this other stuff, then let's think about the look. Remember, I told you, I don't eat hogs behind. So there's a certain look that I go for. My daddy will tell y'all too this. There's certain restaurants I don't care how you tell me, ooh, that dish is so good, but from the looks of it, I'm not going inside. I'm just not going there. They laugh and they tease me at the office. But it's important. You gotta, again, it comes with knowing your customer. Who are you marketing to? It's certain places I'm not going in there. You got that from there. Ooh, child, you did. All right. Enjoy. Let me know how you feel tomorrow. So the look is important. Again, you remember, you got to get into the mindset of your target customer. The colors matter. The colors, the script, all of those things matter. So you may have an idea of how you want it to look, but unless you are a professional and you have studied marketing and graphics and all those things, you know that there are certain colors that stimulate certain emotions. Unless you've done that, go ahead and pay for somebody to do that. It's okay. Pay somebody to do it. Now, and if you know what the look is, maybe you've competitively mapped correctly, you did your competitive mapping, and you kind of have an idea, then you can hire somebody and understand that Fiverr.com is a website where you can get a ton of stuff. You can get a ton of stuff from Fiverr.com done. I just had a YouTube intro done on Fiverr.com because I am actually moving from only posting my radio show episodes on Fiverr to actually getting behind the camera. Excuse me, not on Fiverr, on YouTube, to actually getting behind the camera. So there will be videos on my YouTube as well. And I say, let me get a little intro done. $40. I didn't have to deal with nobody local telling me how busy they are in quarantine. And oh my God, it's going to cost you. You want video and how you want it, going back and forth. That's going to cost you $200. $200 where, child? Let me go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Let me read these reviews and let me pay these $40 and get my video intro back in 5 days. And so the way that Fiverr works is they're freelancers, but here's the thing. They don't get the money up front. So Fiverr is the third party and they hold the money until the freelancer delivers the product, delivers the work. So the person who's doing my YouTube intro won't get my $40 until he delivers the work. And when he delivers the work, I have 3 days to either approve it, reject it, or request modifications. So if the video doesn't look the way I wanted it to look, like yesterday, I was like, yeah, this is cute, but I'm not really feeling that music. This is the kind of music I want behind it. Okay, I can reject it. And he messaged me back this morning. Got it. Thanks. We'll send you an update. So this is a website for freelancers, but it's an economical website. It's a I don't want to say cheaper, but lower price, because these are people who are all over the world who are doing this. People may be in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, everywhere doing this work for you. And you can read the reviews, and it's a system that's highly rated. So before you hire somebody, you read the past reviews of other customers, and they'll tell you very great, completed the work in less time than expected, very creative, great communicator, or they'll leave reviews, horrible communication, asked for a refund, didn't do what I asked, didn't, you know what I mean? So Fiverr.com, you can get anything done on Fiverr. You can get your website done on Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Okay. So if you need a logo, Fiverr.com. The person who edits my radio shows and puts them up on YouTube for me, Fiverr.com. Shout out to Adrian, my YouTube guy, my Fiverr YouTube guy. Every month I send him back to radio shows, $10 an episode. And he turns it right around. He tells me it'll take a week. It generally takes 24 hours for like 4 or 5 episodes, $10. I don't got to do a lot of back and talk. I don't have to do that back and forth, that back talk. I got to see my baby crying. No, listen, sir. That's why I love Fiverr. So when you start thinking about creating your look and making your website, I want you to understand that in 2020, there are different avenues, different places that you can go to get some stuff done. You can go to different places to get your stuff done. We're starting to do a lot of video marketing at the Henderson Financial Group. I was on Fiverr yesterday. I can get a 60-second animated video marketing done for $10. Right? $10. So remember, as you may need to pay more to trademark your great idea or patent some, your business name or whatever it is, you can then do that high-low thing. Then you go on Fiverr and get it done. Get your logo done for lower. And don't get caught up in it. People are going to be like, yeah, but it ain't going to be high quality. My stuff, I like my stuff. It's high quality. But what I don't want you to get caught up in is analysis paralysis, because understand that you just need to start. You need to do something to get started. So the logo or whatever website that you have today, start it. Get it done. Get your little $500 website. And as the business starts to grow and take off, and then you're like, all right, I want to make some changes to the website. Maybe you go back to Fiverr and make some changes, or maybe you've met some people and established some relationships, and you've met someone who can do a really, really good website, an interactive website, the kind of website that you didn't even know you needed. And now you can upgrade your website. But don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in, no, you got to have it like this, and you ain't going to get that. You need something, because right now you have nothing. That's what I want you to think about, all right? Then we got to set up our finances. So we came up with the idea. We registered the intellectual property. We researched the market. We decided on the structure. We devised a plan, a business plan. That's going to be another episode on the podcast. Also, business structure is going to be a podcast episode. We obtained funds for backing. We got our business ready for financing. And then we looked at all the opportunities that was available for funding. We decided on a business name. We set up an online presence, got a website, created a look, focused on colors and script and things like that. We made a website. Now we need to get some accounting done, because we're about to get to this money. And it's not enough. You cannot mingle your personal business funds. You cannot mingle your personal funds with your business funds. Cannot do it. You're going to have a problem when it's time for you to qualify for funding. They want to see your business funds. They want to see what those business numbers look like. So we got to set up our finances. That includes accounting and cash flow system. You got to have a bank account. All these things we got to get done, because we're not having a hustle. We're getting off the front porch. We're sitting at the big boys table. This isn't a hustle. It's a business. After you've done all of this, then and only then you can start marketing. Yes. You see, we got a lot of stuff to do before we start telling everybody, y'all, look what I'm finna do. I'm about to do this. I'm gonna do that. We got a lot of stuff to do before we start marketing. And the reason why it's important for you to start doing all of these things before you start marketing is because When you start marketing, and this is an affirmation, I am speaking this life over your business and your product and your entrepreneurship aspirations and dreams. Once you start marketing, they coming for you. They're like, oh, you market this? I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to support. Where do I support? Where do I sign up? The last thing you want to do is be like, hold on, website will be up soon. Wait a minute, call me next month. So you do all of these things, and then you go into marketing. And then you start marketing. And marketing is not the same as launching. Marketing is the buildup. That's like I'm getting you hot and ready. You hear what I say? I'm getting you ready like spaghetti. That is what marketing is. I'm dropping little hints, little dimes, letting you know what's coming. I'm doing social media marketing. I'm doing print marketing. I'm doing word of mouth marketing. What does your marketing campaign look like? You have to test your marketing campaign. Trust me, if you follow this formula, if you follow this path, and you do all of these things and take your time doing it. Now you see why I say you ain't gonna have time for friends, especially if they not going nowhere. If they sitting around doing the same thing they was doing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if your friends are sitting around doing the same things they were doing 12 months ago, you can't spend a lot of time with them. You can no longer afford to spend a lot of time with them because they're stagnant and life is always evolving. If they were doing the same thing that they were doing 3 months ago, if they're doing the same thing they were doing before we went into quarantine and they got the same routine and doing the same thing and we've been on lockdown for 60 days, that's an indicator you might need to get you a new friend, new boo, because you're going to need to be in this headspace. You got a lot of stuff to be doing. So then after you start the marketing, you've done all that, you run your marketing campaigns, you figured out what worked and what didn't work, because not all of your great ideas for marketing is going to work. Some of them are going to be a bomb. You need to be okay with that. Then and only then will you be ready to launch. I hope that you have enjoyed today's episode of The American Cream. It seemed like it flew by so quickly. But that means that I was rocking and rolling, and I hope that you was rocking and rolling right along with me. Let's stay connected, www.hyacinthhenderson.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, The American Cream. If you are a podcast listener, please do me a favor and rate the podcast. Go ahead and give me a 5-star rating if you feel so led to. If you don't feel led to do a 5-star rating, just go ahead and close out of the app. Just go ahead and walk away. So that's The American Cream. That's Hyacinth Henderson. That's LinkedIn, social media, Facebook. And if you're old school and play by the old rules and you want to talk on the phone, we can do that too. That's 305-825-1444. It has been a pleasure and an honor being here with you today. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, remember, it is all about the cream. That's credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. Until next week, peace. Maybe not. Maybe not. Until next week.
You've been listening to the American Cream Podcast, the #1 audio production show for people who want to achieve the American dream with cream. Love this episode of the American Cream? Head over to your favorite podcast platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. For free resources and materials, go to theamericancreampodcast.com.